This Wake Up Africa morning show will impact your life. It will illuminate you. The Bible said that thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. You need this insight. You need the understanding required to make all the difference in all of our lives. I want you not just to tune in to the Wake Up Africa morning show, but I want you to be a sponsor. I want you to partner with us as we take this Wake Up Africa morning show, the inspiration it brings, the impact across all Africa, to homes, to individuals, impacting lives. Join us to make a difference. It is said and believed that in this life, what you do to change the life of others matters than what you acquire for yourself. It is believed that it's not what you have, what you possess that matters, but the difference you made in the life of others. I believe as you partner with Wake Up Africa morning show, you'll be joining us to make a difference in the life of so many people out there. Partner with us, and every time we touch a life, you are blessed. Every time we impact a family, you'll be remembered for good. God bless you. Looking forward to partnering with you and tuning in to Wake Up Africa morning show.
Well, the psalmist says in Psalm 143 verse 8, let the morning bring a word of your unfailing love, for in you I put my trust. Show me the way to go, for I entrust my life in you. I want that to be your prayer this morning, that let this morning and every other morning, especially when you wake up to see the day, may it bring a word of the unfailing love of God. Welcome to another day in our life, and of course, we're excited to bring you a bouquet of love, a bouquet of a lot of things, and we're excited that Wake Up Africa is here and you're here as well. Thank you very much for joining us for Lamb Devotion, even as Pastor Paul Abio joined us to bring us that. And of course, you went ahead to go through the routines, even as Kofi Fitness brought us by way of Wake Up Fitness. We have a lot more coming up. The sports update, we're talking about kidney later on in the show. We're getting into some news review where we talk about the headlines and bring some experts and some great minds to share in your morning and what you think about these issues, all the way from the African continent, zooming to our dear country, Ghana. My name is Kokulumo. Well, unfortunately, my ever adorable, the precious one, will not be with us today. And so wherever you are, extending our love and our greetings to you. Be back soon, all righty? And so welcome to the show. This is Wake Up Africa. My name is Kokulumo. Get ready. Remember to get interactive with us. We're streaming live across all socials, especially Facebook, Instagram, and of course on YouTube. And so be sure to drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching me from. I want to know, really, where you're watching me from in the world. There are a lot of silent viewers on our show. Please endeavor to drop a comment for me today on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Let's now get ready for weather update, even as Mr. Solomon Ba, the weather prophet, joins us. Stay with us. Staying with us, this is Wake Up Africa. Let's now get into some weather update. You need to know what's happening in the world, even as the weather is concerned. And so while you're going out, or before you go out, or while you're at work already, you want to prepare yourself for what is to come. The weather prophet, Mr. Solomon Ba, joins us online. If you can hear me, good morning, and thanks for your time.
Good morning, Mr. Kokulobo.
I hope all is well with you, sire.
By His grace, all is well.
All right, let's know what's happening in the weather, shall we?
Thank you very much, and let me first greet our cherished viewers and listeners of Dominion TV this morning. Today is the second day of the working week, Tuesday, 28 days into the month of January 2025, and we are looking at the weather today over the entire country. Today's weather will not be different from yesterday's. It will be partly cloudy with misty and fog patches over the coastal and the middle sectors this morning. This will be paving way for sunny periods in the afternoon across the entire country. But the northern and the transition belts will be coupled with dry and hazy conditions with harmattan winds of 25 kilometers per hour. There will be no major activities across the country except few areas in the western south areas or region, where there could be some formation of clouds which may result in occasional isolated showers late afternoon into the evening before after 4 p.m. The state of the sea, when you go into move at the sea, the state of the sea will be very calm today for the fisher folks. So they can work very hard to get more fish for us to eat. The temperatures will range from 23 degrees Celsius to 34 degrees Celsius over the coastal belts, 23 degrees Celsius to 36 degrees Celsius over the middle sectors, 22 degrees Celsius to 36 degrees Celsius over the transition belts, and 23 degrees Celsius to 37 degrees Celsius over the northern sectors of the country. From the images on the screen, you could realize that the harmattan is very much active over the northern part of Ghana. That is countries like Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Chad, northern parts of Nigeria, and others. So the harmattan has relaxed a bit, especially in Ghana, southern half of the country. The harmattan has relaxed a bit. So we may experience some form of warmth weather in the morning and evenings. So there wouldn't be any major activities over the entire country apart from the southern parts or southwestern parts of the country, western coast. That's the western coast. Axim, Hafasini, Cape Point, and its environs. That's where there could be cloud formations which may result in some showers late afternoon into the evening. So, Mr. Lumo, for the next 24 hours, this is how the weather is going to be like. However, should there be any changes, I will keep you updated for viewers and listeners to be aware. Thank you very much.
Thank you, too. We're grateful. I'm sure we're going to be having a fair weather, especially around here that we live. And so we're grateful for the update. And that's Mr. Solomon Ba. He's our weather prophet, and he brings us weather updates all the time. And so be sure to work with this, to go out there with this information. Even while you are at work, everywhere you are on the continent of Africa especially, be sure to also check within the member states where you are so that you guide yourself even as you go. It tells you what to wear, it tells you what to carry, whether or not umbrella, or to stay safe in your homes, or especially because of the natural disasters that we're having. You need to be updated all the time. And so don't say, well, it's a lot of jargons. Make sure that every time you pick an information or two to guide you. Well, how about the weather in the life of some people? Again, God made it so sure and constant that every day of our lives, there's somebody celebrating his or her birthday. And also, we have been called to mourn with those who are mourning, and of course, to celebrate with those who are celebrating. And so we here are fulfilling scriptures, even as we get into the birthday segment where we celebrate some beautiful souls. Shall we? It's now time to celebrate our celebrants.
It's your birthday. It's your day, one day out of 365. It's your day, one day out of 365. Happy birthday. Ooh, to you. Happy birthday. Yeah. To you. Happy birthday to you. To you. You got a happy birthday.
So saw a very known face there, the legend Marvin Sapp. And so probably we can get a music from him, or maybe later as well. But that's it. Happy birthday to everyone. Of course, to you watching as well. If we have not been able to get your picture here, please forgive us because you didn't send it. I told you to send it, right? So make sure you send it. The numbers are on the screen. If you want your birthday celebrated for you, if it is coming up tomorrow, please send it. Send your picture, your name. I will gladly do that. Alternatively, you can also put it on our page. We're streaming live, remember, on Facebook, Instagram, and of course on YouTube. My Dominion TV across all socials. We'll be glad to do that. Let's now get ready and touch base with just some headlines, even as we prepare for the news review. And so wake up, Baz is up. Stay with us. Let's now start off with some local news right here in Ghana, as Finance Minister inaugurates technical committee to draft legal framework for Ghana Gold Board. Very exciting news, and for me, I only hope and pray that this particular one results in some establishment of a gold refinery. As I've said, and this has nothing to do with me thinking Burkina Faso is not worthy of a gold refinery, but even Burkina Faso has a gold refinery. How much more the Gold Coast? But well, we'll see how the days pan out. Let's now move on to the next news on our local scene here in Ghana. A very sad one. A 25-year-old allegedly sets family house ablaze with 8 bedrooms destroyed. A 25-year-old allegedly sets family house ablaze with 8 bedrooms destroyed. When people are looking for 1 bedroom to rent. Just 1 bedroom to rent. But of course, he also tells me of how our mental capacity to take a lot of pain and distress is. And so we should begin to speak about mental health and take it seriously, though. Well, that's where I'm coming from. But we'll have to see what the investigations, if there will be any done at all. The next one, sir. Still here in Ghana, a traditional council accuses member of parliament of engaging in galamsey. And this is a very sad one. Mr. Asari Donko of Multimedia stated clearly that there is evidence to show that members who are linked to the National Democratic Congress, the ruling government, have contacted galamsey kingpins, galamsey kings in this country, so that excavators can be brought to site. Ladies and gentlemen, we are waiting for them. We are definitely waiting for them. Well, let's go to the next story. And now some story on Honorable Ama Kofi Boah, the minister designate, or who has been vetted already, yesterday, from the Land and Natural Resources. He says healing our water bodies, forgive me, legal mining, safe mining is my top priority. As my top priority. And so that's according to Ama Kofi Boah. That's according to Ama Kofi Boah, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister designate. Let's now do some stories on some farm produce. Ghana ends 2024 with $5 billion US dollars trade surplus, $9 billion US dollars in gross international reserves. Alrighty, okay. From our local scene, let's now move to international scene, even as Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger introduce new AES passports in January, formalizing exit from ECOWAS. This is the saddest news I have heard, even as this is about to happen. How have we been able to continually destabilize our continent in such a way that the regional blocks already existing are a problem to uniting Africa? Now we have had people exiting and they are formalizing it. It is sad. I thought this was just interim. Guys, I think you are taking this too far. As military guys, you are taking this too far. I mean, we're praising you for fixing things, but I thought this was just interim. Well, that's just by the way. Still on international news, Parliament rebuts DA claims on expropriation bill votes. There's been quite a number of these particular one, expropriating of lands and all of that in South Africa. And it rages on. As for South Africa, I think we need to go to South Africa and speak about their problem. There must be the root cause of the thing happening there. We need to touch base with it. So that's by way of South Africa, though. Again, very sad one. At least 18 killed in devastating fuel tanker explosion in Nigeria. 18 people killed in devastating fuel tanker explosion in Nigeria. Well, one death is too many. One death is too many. 18 is just too much. Raila Odinga gains momentum in African Union race as 25 nations back his candidacy. Raila Odinga? Well, I think I have to touch base with an international relations expert so we talk about some of these issues because, that's just me. That's just me expressing my surprise. Alrighty? Alrighty. Gaza residents return north as Israel opens crossings following a hostage deal. All righty. All righty. And so that's by way of a wake-up buzz, touching base with headlines, and both to local and international. But the continent is still not safe. I am pleading to leaders to unite and have us live peaceably, not only as Africans, but also in our member states. And so that's by way of wake-up buzz coming through to you with some news making headlines. We'll take a break at this point. When we come back, there's more. There's sports coming up. We're going to be talking about kidney. This is something worrying the young people of today. Remember that people are on dialysis treatment as we speak. Very young people, 30 years, 32 years, 40 years. What is happening? What are we eating? Is it our drugs? Is it our water? Is it our environment? What is happening? There must be something happening. There's a kidney scare happening, of course. We'll have that conversation as well. And of course, there's news review segment. The very smart gentleman will be joining me as well, even as we get into all of these and more. Stay with us. Let's do some music break. When we come back, the show continues.
TV is now also a digital terrestrial free-to-air channel. This means you can watch us in Ghana from your digital TV without any subscription. Just rescan your channels on your digital TV to access it. How? On your digital TV, press the menu or settings button and choose auto tuning, auto search, or the appropriate options to scan your channels and look for Dominion TV. Enjoy some of Africa's best Christian lifestyle programming from Dominion TV.
Hey, okay. Lego, 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 okay. Lego, 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 Lego. Who say God no day? Who say God no day? Who say God no go fit make a way? Who say God no go do am again? Who say God no day? Who say God no day? Who say God no go fit make a way? Who say God no go do am again? Massa, ebe yanka susu kasa. Jinan China mindi massa. Mi hanki na mi himansa. Massa, nana nyamini kita ansa. Mela me nyamini kita power. Jinan China mindi massa. Who say God no day? Who say God no day? Who say God no go fit make a way? Who say God no go do am again? Who say God no day? Who say God no day? Who say God no go fit make a way? Who say God no go do am again? No go do am again. He go do am again. Who say God no go fit make it rain? Who say God no go take all the pain? Who say God no go fit make it change? We go they do make you bust your brain. We go they cruise where you just complain. When our enemies go they do skin pain. But we be cool where we just maintain. Massa, ebe yanka susu kasa. Jinan China mindi massa. Mi hanki na mi himansa. Massa, nana nyamini kita ansa. Mela me nyamini kita power. Jinan China mindi massa. Who say God no day? Who say God no day? Who say God no go fit make a way? Who say God no go do am again? Who say God no day? Who say God no day? Who say God no go fit make a way? Who say God no go do am again? Who say God no day? Who say God no day? Who say God no go fit make a way? Who say God no go do am again? Who say God no day? Who say God no day? Who say God no go fit make a way? Who say God no go do am again? Yes, sir. Okay. Lego, 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 Lego. You dey fear? Make you no fear. Who say God no day? Who say God no day?
Well, who say God no day? Who at all? Who is saying that? Let him come. Let him come and let's show him. God day, oh, God day. But of course, this is Wake Up Africa. We're excited about it. Welcome. From that music, let's dovetail. Let's connect now into some news review segment. Let's talk about the news in details. Some men are standing by. Remember, we have the men. We've got the men. Reverend Bafo Nanaya Bafo is an architect and builder, a pastor with the Eagles Network International Ministries. He joins us via Zoom. If you can hear me, good morning. It's good to have you. I couldn't hear Reverend Bafo okay, can you hear me, sire? Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Alrighty, we're going to be touching base pretty soon with quite a number of issues. Starting off, Mahama petitioned. The President Mahama has been petitioned to remove EC chair, 3 others from office over alleged gross incompetence. Quite a number of appointments also have come through. There's also the deportation issue, and also the Galamsey staff is back again. Over 50 acres of tunnel where the forest reserve destroyed by illegal miners, and so we need to go back to some of these conversations and hold the government accountable, because we cannot take this. But let me see if I can still connect with Reverend Bibi, who has joined us. Reverend Bibi, can you hear me? Reverend Bibi, can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, If you can hear me, thank you very much for your time. We're grateful. Let's now start off the discussion with the petition to remove the Electoral Commission commissioner and 3 others. The petitioner is a resident of my region, the Volta region, and has petitioned President John Dramani Mahama to remove the Electoral Commission chairperson, Madam Jane Adukwe Mensah, from office, and also 2 other deputies, Maxwell Tete, Dr. Bosman Asari, and also Dr. Peter Apiahini. Well, the petition was filed on January 27th, 2025, and cites a breach of fundamental human rights under Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution. According to the petitioner, right, the disenfranchisement of voters in Santo Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobis, that's Sao, areas during the 2020 parliamentary elections is a gross violation of citizens' right under Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution. And so that's one of the the major reasons why the petitioner wants the EC chair and, of course, the 2 others, or 3 others, 2 deputies and 1 other removed. When this week, I think was it yesterday or so, we saw the members of parliament, especially the minority members of parliament, speak about Ablikuma North and the fact that because Ablikuma North is not represented, they walked out, they staged a walkout. That's quite ironic, isn't it? And tell me about the petition as well while we balance that.
The minority walked out.
Yes, they staged a walkout.
I find that extremely unfortunate, you see, because who has a stance now, you and I know. And let me greet again our listeners across the globe and wish everybody a pleasant morning. I think that considering how Asidun Ketia referred to them as a micro minority, I don't think that these sorts of staging walkouts are a healthy way to go. And I think that it should be looked at very, 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 very seriously. You know, I don't think it's a healthy way to go at all. And so they should look at being able to dialogue and judge. And mind you, it's not the fault of Parliament that Okankwe North has not been declared. It's an issue really. Ablikuma North has not been declared. It's something that is very much connected to the Electoral Commission, and their work also. Reports have indicated that it's hoodlums that continue besieging the place and making work very difficult. That has led to this unfortunate circumstance, in spite of the police and military trying to provide the needed protection. I think I think I saw one news item where I think the returning officer said he had quit and that he couldn't do it anymore. I'm sure it's that particular constituency, if I'm right, you know. And I think it's quite unfortunate. This petition regarding the removal of the Electoral Commissioner, I'm not too sure it will fly. My reason is quite simple. The very issues raised, especially the South constituency, have been raised earlier and during the time of the past administration. And so for me, if I'm looking at it in fairness, so far as the law is concerned, then it will be, I don't know what the legal guys, they call it a tragedy or something, where something has been adjudicated upon and dismissed, and then you bring it back again, not because there's new evidence, but because you think there's a change in government, and so you want to take advantage of that. I think that it is not something that would easily fly, and I've heard a few legal aspects of our opinion. I heard this morning Aikwe had made a statement to that effect that on prima facie, what it is that they are presenting does not have the gravitas it takes to be able to oust the Electoral Commissioner and even her deputies. I think that Dr. I see his name who has been mentioned. I think there was a lot of hue and cry when he was sent to the commission because enough evidence was adduced that he had once stood as a parliamentary candidate or something like that for the New Patriotic Party, and was also a radio panelist for the MPP on quite a number of radio stations. This is something that was public knowledge. So I find it quite unfortunate that the Parliament of the day actually allowed it to pass, and the Council of State at that time I don't know what advice they give the president, because our law also says that the president is not bound by the advice of the Council of State. I don't know what advice was given, but I personally feel that it was an unfortunate thing, and that I believe President Mahama should look at it and possibly remedy that, because I don't believe that anybody at the Electoral Commission is absolutely neutral. They all will vote at one point in time. The only Electoral Commissioner I've heard say clearly that he never voted was Dr. Kujua Farijan, and he admitted that he was a one-time cardinal member of the NDC, even after he had left office. But I said he never voted because he didn't want to look like he had any biases. So I don't think anybody there is absolutely neutral. But when somebody has open-facedly come out and shown their political colors and their even political posters with their pictures there and their parties clearly indicated, looking at the infantile nature and the volatile nature of our politics now, I don't think that we are ready for somebody who has a clear partisan stance to be in a sensitive position where we are constantly looking at that particular institution through the lenses of mistrust all the time. In America, their democracy is so advanced. It's close to 300 years, over 200 years, 250 years of their democracy. Sometimes somebody is appointed as a chief justice and everybody knows he's a conservative, and yet they trust the person who do his work, but we have not come that far, even to the point where when presidents' biological siblings are appointed to positions and they are being competent, we don't want to hear it. But Mr. Trump worked with his children, Mr. Biden worked with his children, and his children had businesses doing here and there, and so on and so forth. And I don't think we've developed that level of sophistication. So when somebody is very openly politically aligned, I don't think that it's a very healthy way to go to put them in such sensitive positions that are constantly being viewed through the lenses of mistrust. No kind of nothing going on. It's a mistrust issue. Nobody trusts that anybody is telling the truth. And so the Electoral Commissioner can have the peace of mind to do his work. I'll be quite surprised if this petition actually gets the president's attention to the point where you actually institute procedures to get Madam Chimensa out.
I see. Very, very fair points. And Dr. Apia Kubi also joins us in studio. Dr. Apia
Kubi. That's good. Doc, greetings.
Same to you all.
And well, he is a development expert, the Dean of Dominion Theological Seminary, and of course, as a man of God as well. We're grateful. The Rev raises very, very, very good points. Mm-hmm. But again, there are a lot of questions around it. Rev mentioned Aikoyotu, who obviously speaks for the New Patriotic Party. A lot of people have also asked this same question. Where was Aikoyotu when the same case was raised against someone like Charlotte Osei, who a lot of people believe that did not even commit the sins that this particular woman committed with deputies. Again, he also raises the point that Dr. Asihini is a known MPP member. We also know about Dr. Bosman Asari and what he has said in 2016. There was also a statement made by the EC chair herself with regards to the ruling government being the challenge for them. She's quoted as saying that all of these people have said that they've not shown good faith in running the office, and so it's better they go that someone else comes. What would that make for our democracy, though?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, Koku, and of course, also to Nana. Also for morning. Yeah, when I heard it, in fact, I was one of the reasons why I was even a little bit late. I was listening to the guy who wrote the thing a while ago. I was listening to him on phone, and I'm like, are we really going to go back again like this? What they did to Charlotte was really bad. I mean, it was really bad compared to what we've seen Jane doing. Of course, then Charlotte becomes an angel. Mm-hmm. But the fact is that two wrongs doesn't make one right. If we don't take care, as Nana was saying, our volatile democracy is really going to be in trouble. And we mentioned about the U.S., interestingly, my first PhD, my doctoral thesis was the influence and the involvement and influence of the church in governance.
Okay.
But I use so much US. I use so much US as my example because of my association with them and all that. And in US, you know 110% this Supreme Court judge is a Democrat. You know this one is a Republican. That is why sometimes you're watching CNN and you hear, yes, and the Republican Chief Justice, the Democrat Chief Justice, you hear it all the time. But as Nana said, their democracy has grown so much that we cannot compare ourselves. And we are also growing. My problem is that...
But we still living here, witch hunting. Donald Trump has accused quite a number of them for witch hunting him and all of that.
But interestingly, though, those witch hunters actually were not so much of people who have those positions. Remember, those witch hunters were much more politicians, by the way. And also, when it comes to the Supreme Court judges who were that, they were Democrats. what do you say? And in fairness, even to the America, some of the Republicans were actually against Donald Trump. They were against him. So coming back to our own, I put some things together why we're supposed to be careful. First is we have to be careful not to undermine electoral commission's independence. Now, when you are doing something, you are afraid. If I don't take care, when they come to power, they'll kick me. The second one is about erosion of public trust in elections. We have to be careful. Then, also, political polarization. I always say, when I come to Ellen, I always say I'm a Ashanti man. Be careful. Plenty of courage. Yeah, and so our nation is so polarized when it comes to politics. So we have to be very careful how we handle it. Of course, our international reputation is also somehow at stake. Remember that Ghana is really respected in the whole world when it comes to, because sometimes some of us who love traveling, sometimes the fact that you're a Ghanaian, you feel very proud of. I remember one time I was actually, I think, in the US Embassy, and I think I was going to Hawaii. And when I put my passport, the guy looked at the passport, hey, you from Ghana? I said, yes. Oh, that's really cool. I said, Kofi Annan. I said, oh, Kofi Annan means he was born on Friday. So, I mean, we just have conversations. Yes. You see? And your co-Africans, when they know that you are from Ghana, one time Papa mentioned that a certain country, we haven't missed that country. The one who wins is coming to, the prize is to come to Ghana for tour. You see? So we have a reputation. We might not know. But we have the reputation, and you have a reputation, sometimes you have to just let go. We knew very well that American election, there were a lot of problems. But as much as I don't like the Democrats were saying we should be careful how we keep on saying all this because Americans have a reputation to protect. The last but one actually is also potential legal and constitutional challenges. And final one is the risk of instability. Though they just say this one, that, then it can cause a whole lot of problems. So, do I like what Jane and Bossman and all have been firing them seriously during the election time? I don't like it. But I really think that let's find different measures that we can streamline certain things than for us to take them out. Because to me, doing the wrong thing at the wrong way, at the wrong time is very, very dangerous. And doing the right thing at the wrong time is also dangerous as well.
Let's end on this. Let me come back to Reverend Bibi. I mean, the points Doc listed, very, very, very crucial. And I agree, 125%. But amongst that, we miss the issue of when people turn to become blind loyalists. Because I was given the position, even if you don't ask for, some loyalty to me, I will give it to you. And that's what we have seen. And so while we're talking about this, as fair as these points are the individuals themselves who also have lived to see the young days of our democracy, how beautiful it was, and decided that probably they would destroy them. This has nothing to do with the EC chair, but we have seen quite a number of old people disappoint us, and I'm not proud to have some old people, govern the continent, if you like, by way of their positions because of what they have done. Talk to me about that. The blind loyalists.
I mean, look, every human institution will have its own fair share of sycophants. I mean, the fact the sycophants and bottom lickers will continue to exist everywhere. I think one of the intriguing things that Doc raised that is of great interest for me is the credibility of our elections. Credibility. You see, because each time we keep changing electoral commissioners, what we are actually communicating is that you are putting somebody there because they will make you win. The beauty of it, if you look at Afarijan's history, is that nobody changed him. And he made some profound statements that every party in opposition says, I belong to the other side, until they come to power and they literally become the EC spokesperson. And we have seen the same trajectory repeat itself. Let's be honest. Look, the NDC literally was answering every question that was directed at Mrs. Charlotte Osei. You understand? I mean, they seem to have every answer and explain all her issues. And it is funny that she comes in rather and ushers them out of power. I mean, think about it. You understand? And the same happens with Mrs. Jean Mensah. They come in there, they win 2020, which was her first election. By 2024, she's ushered the so-called people that she's supposedly loyal to out of power. So I think that we must allow the trends to flow. We have come a very long way with our politics, from the place of opaque ballot boxes to electoral rules that were written in pen, where you go and vote and you actually take with a pen. I saw it with my own eyes at La Olympia voting center as a very young boy, though I wasn't voting at that time. We've seen up to black and white ID cards, then partially transparent ballot boxes that had no seals, then seals came in. So we're making progress all the way to the BVDs, the biometric verification devices. If you ask me, I think Dr. Mani Boama did a fantastic job putting some heat on the tails of the EC. I mean, the guy was on top of every single IT-related matter and made sure the right things were done, PDFs, whatever needed to be done to certify that they were original true copies. I mean, he ruffled Adukwe's feathers. And the beauty of it is that at every given point, instead of being the usual dismissive EC, they were very cooperative and they were bringing the information out, even sometimes belatedly, but at least there was some sense of compliance. Look at the balloting. I mean, when it was said that it was being done to favor somebody or not, I mean, even people, smaller parties like Cheddar, they were able to register their displeasure, stage walkout, walk-ins. I mean, you could see that we've come a very long way. Some of these things were done. Cameras will not be allowed. When she said accreditation was not going to be allowed, blah, blah, blah. You know, the media took her on, put her into shreds, and then suddenly it's like, hey, we back down. So you can see that a certain level of aggressive hunt for accountability is making public officers sit up. And I believe that Madame has a lot of learning to do on the job. I don't know what her orientation is in terms of her academic discipline, but I will say that if it is possible, she should just take some basic course in mathematics. Why am I saying that? Because in 2020, simple addition, we had to announce that 3 times. And you will see that she fumbled again with numbers, even when she was declaring President John Mahama's win. I mean, she just fumbled. Something in the millions was being mentioned in the thousands. If she has a phobia for numbers, I think that there's no law that says that she must be the one to announce the numbers. I mean, the law says that she must let us know who won the election. So maybe if she tells us, so deputy, announce the figures. So on the basis of the figures announced and certified by the EC, I, in my position as whatever, declare so as president-elect. So, I mean, it looks like when it comes to doing the president-elect part, the English flows. When it's the numbers, we seem to have a whole lot of issues. So I think that she should work on her nervousness with numbers. And I think that she will do a great job moving forward. I'll be a little disappointed if Jean Mensah is removed. And my reason is very simple. Nana is our first ever vice female president. She took the the stage by being our first ever female vice chancellor. We have seen women rise in KNUST, University of Ghana had a female vice chancellors. We have seen women coming through certain doors that were totally reserved after a woman rising to be Chief Justice. We have seen a second and we've seen a third. And then we have seen a first, female electoral commissioner. Then we boot her out, we boot another one out. We are almost trying to send a signal that when it comes to this particular thing, women are not good enough. And I don't think that that is a signal I want to send there, especially when it comes to our gender related. It will really break my heart because, I mean, the women who have gone to all these places have shown their competences. They have run their full tenure. They have run their full race. We are hoping that our current Chief Justice will be able to do same, and will be given the room to operate. So when it's like that, especially when you're looking at it from the gender angle, it begins to look like any woman that will enter the EC's office must be shut down because they don't have the temperament and the composure and what it takes to be there. And I don't think it's a good signal for us on the international scene. So we should tread very, 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 very cautiously, very, very cautiously. And let's critique, let's do whatever reform must be done to make it more efficient. But to keep kicking people out like that, I don't think is the way to go. So when Charlotte was removed, I found it absolutely regrettable, especially the grounds on which she was removed. Listen, I have read the Act 663 because of my work when I was working in the public service as an architect with AESL. And when you look at the requirements there, I don't know which CEO in Ghana will not be caught by the book if they are subjected to strict scrutiny, because the kind of requirements of our procurement system, like even these are new ministers, they can't even buy pens and A4 sheets to use without going through tender. And you have just assumed office. When I go to, constitute all these tender entity committees, before the procurement issues are brought to them, for them to sit, invite bids through a proper opening tendering process. So some of the things are such that they are so urgent, they must come under some bill of emergency, and for you to act, strictly in the position as CEO to get certain things done. So Charlotte did things. She's a lawyer. She knows better. She wouldn't have intentionally broken the rules. Yet we decided to go by something that we all are faltering just to embarrass this woman. And it was very hurting for me. It was wrong. I mean, she's human. She will have her faults. She'll have her shortcomings. But the way we went about it, totally brutish. And I think that all these things put together with the other ills of the past administration is what culminated in that crescendo. It hit the boiling point, and Ghanaians were like, look, enough is enough.
I see. I mean, in one breath, I am so much in love with the idea for her to stay. In another breath, I'm like, nah. The incompetencies. Even now, there are also reports of illegal transfers being done. People's names are being transferred. Illegal, about some 32 or so I read. People have found out their names are being transferred without informing them and all of that. So when it continues like this and it becomes cyclical, finally.
For me, I thought actually, Goku, that those were some of the incompetencies as you were talking about. But my problem actually is what you were talking about, the blind loyalists that we were having. I'm not sure if Jane could be one of those.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure means that I've not catch her, But there's something.
There's no evidence to show.
There's something that the lawyers call circumstantial evidences, and the circumstantial evidences were just way too many.
Right.
And it's something that we take it beyond just the EC. I remembered very well, even with the Supreme Court issue, with the LGBT thing, and with the Chief Justice, the things that were going on behind the scene, we can see clearly that they are saying, hey, Ulmai, we know that the thing Ghanaians don't like. So let's do our best to delay one or two things till you go so that somebody else will come. What is this? You see, and so you put somebody there. There's a culture we have in Ghana,
right,
which is good. Filipinos have a similar one. They call it utang na loob.
Okay.
Utang means debt. Loob means inside or means heart. Like, for example, there's an opportunity in the US. Then came to know Kwaku, seeing your ability and everything. Then I connected you to California. Then you go and do certain things. then while you are there, it will be long, I also join you. You will do everything to help me because you have Utan Nalo. Ghana, we have similar thing. That Obi your papa, you want to do. Somebody does something good, you also want to recompense or replicate the same thing. And that is not sometimes helping. It's not helping us. So when the person says, oh, this person is very ungrateful after all the things he did for you, but law is law. You know, justice is justice. And so if we don't go beyond that one, it's not going to help us as a nation. And I'm really hoping and praying, as much as I don't want Jane to go, not I don't want her to go because of anything. I don't want her to go because of everything Reverend Nana is saying. And some of the things. That is the reason why I don't want her to go. The same with Bossman. I don't want him to go because of almost everything we've been talking about. But I really think two things. Number one, we need to see, so what do we do in order to make sure that blind loyalists, as you are saying, will not continue to do what they are doing? And number two, what do we do to see to it that we punish some of these people without really hurting our democracy? That is really the thing.
Well, we are in there, but it's up to the president to take steps to make sure that
He won't do anything.
this is done or not. Again, people have said that she remains as a lot of people. I mean, even people who I know are not do not sympathize with the ruling government. I'm talking Imani from Kofi Bento himself, who says, you know what, this woman is just, and they have been, and so she must go. Frankly, Kujo will say the same. Quite a number of people, and so we see how the coming days come through, right? Let's now go to some deportation issue. I'm sure we could end on that. Look, it's happening in the United States of America. President Donald Trump is not joking. This is a story on Ghana Web, and allow me to share with the people. Trump's deportation policy, 3,228 Ghanaians listed on ICE's non-detained docket with final orders of removal. Data shared by the U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE, has shown that a total of 3,228 individuals listed as Ghanaians on the agency's non-detained docket have been issued a court order to leave the United States of America. According to a response issued by ICE to questions filed by Fox News, the data as of November 2024 showed a total of 1,445,549 non-U.S. citizens contained on the non-detained docket.
Wow.
This revelation comes at a time when the newly inaugurated government of Donald Trump has implemented an immigration enforcement policy that has resulted in the arrest of nearly 1,000 people, according to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Let me go to Reverend Bibi on this one. We're having our brothers and sisters, 3,228 of them, who might be joining us very soon to enjoy our dear Ghana. What do you say about that, sir?
Lord, have mercy.
From my understanding of the issues, right? It does not necessarily mean that these people are going to be sent back home ASAP.
So I said
what
might.
It actually means, that's what I'm saying. That
Right.
for many people are misconstruing this information. The reality is that unlike us, most advanced countries have very, very solid databases on all their issues. They know who has come in, who has gone out. Today we see a lot of these Niger Malian guys selling glasses, selling phone cases, screen protector. You ask them, they have no documents. They just walk in through some northeast border. I mean, but they have that detail. I remember my wife's friend went to the US once, and he saw the porous-looking border of Canada and decided to just take a stroll in and come back, and he got his passport signed. Do you know that for 10 years, he was constantly stopped at the airport for illegally entering into Canada? Yes, he was, for 10 years, he was on the radar every single time. So anytime they were traveling for any event, he would make sure his connecting flight was not immediate. It would be like 2 or 3 hours in between. So the team always went ahead of him because he knew he would be called aside, detained, and he was asked the same questions for 10 years. That's how much they keep information. So ICE is only telling us that these are the people we know who have come in, who have either overstayed, who have not regularized their stay, and so on and so forth. Mind you, Trump's policy is targeting known criminals and people with criminal record. The reason is because he himself admittedly said that he's being misunderstood and misconstrued, and that even the money required to take out all illegals is so much, it will literally crack the economy. Yes. So that is not the aim. They are looking at those who are intentionally refusing to regularize their stay, even though they've had the opportunity. They are not taking advantage of all the opportunities available to them, and so on and so forth. And who also have criminal records. They are proving to be gang members. So you will see that most of the video footages that ICE is putting out on the social media handles are people that are very clear, people with very clear criminal records. You and I know, Koku, I mean, these are not verified things. We can't say them in public, but you and I know we have lots of relatives who are there who don't have no paper from nowhere, and they've been there for 15 years, 10 years. I have uncles like that. We have relatives. I mean, they are just loitering, hoping that they never fall foul of the law. And they've been there. And you know, when there's a funeral, they can't come. When there's anything, they can't come, because the day they step here, they'll be super glued to Ghana for life. So, I mean, it's no hidden thing. That's and true. I think that it's the misunderstanding of information that makes the black community, the African immigrants, so afraid, and they are so anti-Trump and so on. Can you imagine Trump even says that every single immigrant, whether African or whatever, who manages to secure a college degree has added so much value to themselves that we must not let them go back to their country. And you call such a person a racist or doesn't like black-skinned people. I think it's unfortunate. You know, sometimes we wash people so much with a particular paintbrush that we refuse to hear even what they are saying. So I just hope and pray that our brethren over there will take the necessary steps to regularize their stay. It's very long, it's a very tedious process, and I'm told that it's also quite an expensive journey to embark on. That is why quite a number of people have just hung in there. But America is a big place. If you mind your business and you don't go and fall into any trouble, chances that you'll be knocked out is very, very negligible. Other than that, some of our relatives should have been back longer. But some of them have been there for like 10 years, man. They don't even have a paper like T-Road to their name that legalizes their stay, but they've been there. I mean, I had a cousin that was there for over 10 years. He actually had to come back because something happened and he had fallen foul of the law. But until then, he wasn't going to school. He was living his life. He had even gotten a job after school, living his life, literally. You know what I'm saying? So I think that some of these things are a bit alarmist when you don't read through the line. And I think the news article communicated that quite clearly. Oh, yes. But I know our Ghana people, they want to make us feel that we are on some tenterhooks, because I've got a few people told me, we told you that this Trump guy would put all the Africans back, you know. And you know, Colombia was actually trying to give him a run for his money, that he brought the people on an Air Force plane and not a regular commercial flight, so they would take them. And then he flagged the tariff card, and I think Colombia has told the line. You know, so I think that some of Trump's ways, I must say, with all humility, are a bit totalitarian. Some of his ways, you know, have undertones of bullying tactics. But one of the things I tell people is that many of the things Trump says and does and even thinks are things we are all thinking and we would like to happen. Just that we want to be politically correct, so we don't say them. You understand? Like when Trump calls a particular demographic that they are more violent and they are more prone to do criminal things, every American knows that is the truth. But like, oh, don't say it, you know. And it's very much like our account culture. Oh, men casa. Meanwhile, we know that that's a reality. Like some of the issues we raised today about the concerns with Gene Mensa, see, they are real. But I don't know how many journalists this morning can muster the courage to say what you have just said. Oh, we try to just do window dressing, polish it nicely before the CEO of the media house calls you and says, "Brother, you are fired." You know, so I think that he may have his excesses, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. And so it's clear from that racism angle where we want to paint the man black. I agree. But it's clear that if the records are what it is and they go through that process and people fall foul of the law, this number might be visiting us and might not return because of the street policy.
Is Chidi Jonas part of those who come in?
No, don't do that.
Okay, actually, You know, I'm really saying that CNN is not doing the rest of the world good.
Oh, really? Why?
No. I've been CNN have tried to interview me 4 times. 4, not 1 or 2, 4. And I know sometimes they carry certain agenda that is not really helpful. CNN, we know that they don't like Donald Trump.
But is it not just with Fox as well? So it's the same thing.
That is why, for example,
Right.
me, I never listen to Oman FM and Radio Gold.
Right.
Even though I'm not saying they are not doing well,
Yeah.
it's because I didn't want them
They are
to.
biased.
Yeah, I didn't want them, and they are right for being biased because
Yes.
that's what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah. So Fox News, CNN, not really, because they will really shape your brain, and they just don't like Donald Trump. That is it. Because, for example, when I was in Hong Kong, I knew a lot of Africans. There's a place called Chim Cha Choy. You go to Chim Cha Choy and you see Ghana passport on the roadside. Sell it. I'm telling you. Before, if you're a Ghanaian and you are going to Hong Kong, you don't need visa. You go to Singapore, you don't need visa. Because of the Commonwealth and stuff. You will see on the roadside selling Ghana passports. Because the other African countries that messed up, what they were doing to them were very strict. But for Ghanaians, I mean, as I told you, we were almost always respected in so many different countries. And so they were doing that. And so here is Hong Kong government, for example, that decided that all Africans who are ABCD, we are going to do this. I won't call them racist. I know they're actually even protecting me and protecting my district. And so there are a lot of Americans, African Americans, I'm not talking about black Americans, but Africans who are Americans, who are there, who actually really like what my brother-in-law just came 2 months ago, last month. And he was telling me why they voted for Donald Trump. And he's a Ghanaian. And he was saying some of these things that I'm saying. I said, I know. All my nephews and nieces just moved to the States while Donald Trump is there. We went to American Embassy, get all their documents, and they are there within 3 weeks or so. All of them have their documents. So it's not necessarily true. But Trump is a person who is not a politician.
I see.
So that is actually the thing. We hope that the bad guys actually, and I'm telling you, Koku, most of the bad guys are not coming from Africa. Most of the bad guys, with the greatest of respect, are coming from Latin America. From Mexico, Colombia. I don't want to mention names, But these are so. That's why they started sending them. So Ghanaians, chill.
Well, we'll see how
Jonas will not come. So
I know. We'll see how chilled we can be, but grateful to you, gentlemen. We're grateful. I hope we have time to discuss a lot of this. Thank you very much, Reverend Nanaya Bafo-Boni, for joining us. He's an architect and a builder, and of course a pastor with the Eagles Network in International Ministries. Of course, Dr. Piakubi is with Dominion Theological Seminary as the dean. He's a development expert as well, right? And also a man of God. We're grateful. Thank you. And do have a good day. And do have a good day as well. Up next is sports updates. And how about we let you into the world of sports? Stay with us.
God doesn't write us off when we make mistakes. God doesn't cancel our destiny because we've taken a few detours. Some of you today, you're kind of down on yourself because you're not where you thought you'd be in life. You've made some poor choices. But just like God specifically called Peter's name, He's calling your name today.
Well, I've got something to tell you, and I'm you ready for listen. Search from eternity, from the ends of the earth to the depth of the sea, higher up above. Your love is greater. Should have always sing about is the love of God. You must say, bang, bang, bang. Nobody do me like the way you do. For real, man. Oh Lord, now what Jesus, you're the lover. You are the love. You are the lover of my soul. Come on, everybody, I'm the same. Do me like the
Friday. So the love of God is the only one that completes me. I don't know. Ladies don't do, women don't do. No, not even wife. It's just God. Huh? But that's just by the way. Welcome back to the show. This Wake Up Africa was serving you is a la carte. Whatever it is that you need, tell us. We'll give it to you as it is. It's now time to do sports. But before we go there, let it be a reminder that the Premier League table as it stands today, right now, as we speak, this minute, I think is about, what's the time? 8:11 a.m. Liverpool with 53 points and Arsenal 47 points. I think it has to be clear without any equivocation. And now the man is here to tell us whether he has something or not to say about it. Carl has joined us. Hi, it's good to have you.
Good day, good day. Please, how are you doing?
I'm okay because 53 points.
Of course. But the competition is between Liverpool and Manchester United, not Arsenal. You know, for the past 21 years, Arsenal has not seen the English Premier League title ever since they won that golden trophy, unbeaten run with Arsene Wenger. They've not seen a trophy.
Oh, no, the point I was
United,
actually trying to
City.
make was that we are top of the league. Whether
which is
Manchester
clear.
United,
But we should be comparing Liverpool to Manchester United, not
Arsenal. We are just saying Arsenal is the closest. We are just bringing you closer to the trophy. You smell it and you leave
it. If you do that, you're not being fair to Arsenal fans and Arsenal supporters. Please.
Anyways, what's coming up though?
We've got a lot coming up. You know, the AFCON draw happened yesterday, and unfortunately for the past 20 years, it is our birthright as a nation, that is Ghana, to be at the African Cup of Nations. But this time, we are not going. And yesterday after the draw, it was bad. It was a bad feeling at the time.
We're watching virtually.
Yeah. So that means you are participating virtually as well. So somewhere in December in Morocco, we'll be here enjoying December in Ghana. We are going to Morocco. That's
after all, the players will be here with us.
So they should come. We should all be here.
With us at Dominion TV.
That's it. Last year it was elections. This year we'll all be here enjoying.
Right. But of course, all the details take us away, sir.
All right, thank you very much. This is Sports Break right here on Dominion TV with me, Carl. This is your ultimate destination for everything sports. We've got a lot coming up. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. This is Sports Break right here on Dominion TV. It's Wake Up Africa. I hope you are awake and you are thrilled. Sit back and relax. We've got more coming up in the world of sports. Now let's move straight to the golf. And in the final round, we've got Ras Al Khaimah Championship in the United
Have you
Arab
ever
Emirates.
questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on the
I wanted to make it a surprise.
Why?
I knew the dramatic appearance would excite everyone.
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
Why are you so intimidating?
But you just complain that I'm fat.
But you are fat.
Yeah, it's my son.
Give me what I want and I will set you free.
Stop! Jesus has set me free. Yes, Lord.
On
because of your storm. You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at
I wanted to make it a surprise.
Why?
I knew the dramatic appearance would excite everyone.
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
Why are you so intimidating?
But you just complain that I'm fat.
But you are fat.
Yeah, it's nice time.
Give me what I want and I will set you free. Stop. Jesus has set me free. Yes, Lord.
On the top.
I wanted to make it a surprise.
Why?
I knew the dramatic appearance would excite everyone.
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
Why are you so intimidating?
But you just complain that I'm fat.
But you are fat.
Here is my son.
Give me what I want and I will set you free. Stop! Jesus has set me free. Yes, Lord.
On the top.
I wanted to make it a surprise.
Why?
I knew the dramatic appearance would excite everyone.
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
Why are you so intimidating?
But you just complain that I'm fat.
But you are fat.
Here is my son.
Give me what I want and I will set you free. Stop! Jesus has set me free. Yes, Lord.
On the top.
I wanted to make it a surprise.
Why?
I knew the dramatic appearance would excite everyone.
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
Why are you so intimidating?
But you just complain that I'm fat.
But you are fat.
Here is my son.
Give me what I want and I will set you free. Stop! Jesus has set me free. Yes, Lord.
On the top.
I wanted to make it a surprise.
Why?
I knew the dramatic appearance would excite everyone.
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
Why are you so intimidating?
But you just complain that I'm fat.
But you are fat.
Here is my son.
Give me what I want and I will set you free. Stop! Jesus has set me free. Yes, Lord.
On the top.
I wanted to make it a surprise.
Why?
I knew the dramatic appearance would excite everyone.
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
Why are you so intimidating?
But you just complain that I'm fat.
But you are fat.
Here is my son.
Give me what I want and I will set you free. Stop! Jesus has set me free. Yes, Lord.
On top.
I wanted to make it a surprise.
Why?
I knew the dramatic appearance would excite everyone.
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
Why are you so intimidating?
But you just complain that I'm fat.
But you are fat.
There is my son.
Give me what I want and I will set you free. Stop! Jesus has set me free. Yes, Lord.
On top.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Have you ever questioned God's love because of your storm? You don't rebuke a storm. You rebuke a spirit. When God has something for you, the enemy wants to block your pathway into the destiny that God has for you. And the storms that you're fighting are not your fault or your issue. It's Satan's fear that you're coming after him and crossing over into his territory. Type it on the line, I'm crossing over.
The Potter's Touch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, weekdays at 7 a.m. and weekends at 6:30 a.m. on Dominion TV.
Indeed. I just want to remind all of us that the league table, Liverpool is 53 points. I think it has to be a morning dose of reminders.
And add that they are also on top of the UEFA Champions League. They're playing unbeaten in the UEFA Champions League. They have 21 points after 7 matches. So
I don't want the
doing
UEFA
so
Champions. I want Premier League
No,
this season.
the UEFA Champions
I want
League.
Premier League this season. It's nothing else. Just Premier
But we can
League.
confirm that Liverpool have wrapped up the English Premier League this season.
Oh, no.
We can say that, yeah.
The thing no 10 curve yet.
Oh, no, we
We
10. We are in the second half of the league, and Manchester City are struggling and finding their feet.
No, they just got their form there these last few matches.
Oh, but you can't trust that he can sustain that. Of course, Pep Guardiola is going through some woes. You know, he got separated with his wife after 30 years. So all those things are happening. You know
that thing. We can talk about that later. If you want us to talk about the strategies these rich guys use to share the wealth, let's talk about that later. It's not there. But of course, we're grateful to you as always for bringing us every up-to-the-minute, updates on in the world of sports. We're grateful to you, and that's Carl. Somehow, somewhere, when he goes to his community, he's called Carl the General. And so that's by way of sports. We take a music break. When we come back, remember you're going to be calling us. We want to talk about kidney. What at all is wrong? Do you have a brother or a sister on dialysis treatment? What was the cause? I want us to talk about kidney. Shall we? Stay with us. Well, of course, we do not want to be burned out. We want to keep burning and burning. And that's why you need to always be with us here. Look, there's a lot more coming up. You have no idea what we have in store for you. And so stay with us as always. This Wake Up Africa, remember once again, we're streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, and of course on YouTube. make sure you touch base with us. Again, I want to know where you are watching us from. Then also, we're opening the phone lines after some 10 minutes of conversation. I want us to talk whether or not any of your relations have been involved in any of kidney problems, and what exactly is this kidney cause? Why is it failing these days? It's because of the things we are eating, lifestyle. Is even spiritual? Is it spiritual that there's an attack from the dark world that kidneys will fail? They will not fail in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. But of course, let's talk about the medical point of view. Let's come from that angle, even as Dr. Wisdom Effiong joins us. He comes from the background of medicine, works with the Bank Hospital here in Ghana, one of the most, if not the most prestigious hospital. You should take me as your PR. I just threw you guys out there. Like, I just gave you
massive.
Massive. There's not been any ranking. Do you know how many people come and attack me? The invoice is around $2,000. But it's good to have you, sir.
Thank you.
And of course,
you
to
so
you, the precious one, Biadela, help and come back and come and take over.
She has been missed.
Yes. Dr. Effiong misses you. Better come back anyways. But, I mean, kidney issues. Quite a number of people are caught up. One of my closest friends back in school has been caught up and is sad, now living on donations, benevolence of people. And so, and I'm asking, what's happening? What is the kidney that is giving us problems like this? What exactly is that organ that God cannot just take from us that we can do away with? So let's touch base with what that organ is really, and why then we go into the problems associated with its failings and problems, if you like.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. This is the first time we're having
Indeed.
this conversation.
Official interaction.
I actually miss Viadela.
She'll come back.
So Viadela, wherever you are,
yes, come back.
hurry up. Anyways, yes. I think that the kidneys are it's an organ that is often overlooked. You know, we have downplayed the importance of the kidneys in humanity, really, because it's an organ that functions 24 hours a day, just like the heart. You know, 24 hours. Sometimes the brain goes to sleep, sometimes, but it still functions.
Yes.
But sometimes goes to sleep, goes to rest for a little bit, and comes back. But yeah, the heart, the brain, the kidneys are always functioning, always filtering blood, always, you know, trying to help us. And the reason why it seems as though a lot of youngsters are now caught up in what we call chronic kidney disease or even end-stage renal disease is that we are not taking care of our kidneys. We are not taking good care of our kidneys. And I think that it's important that we have something like this to let the people know that although it's unseen, but it's something you have to take care of.
So you say it works 24/7. What exactly is it doing? It doesn't want to rest.
It doesn't want to rest.
Bro, tell me what exactly it is doing awake.
I think many people don't understand the functions of the kidney.
Okay.
Really, because it has numerous functions. Most people know that it produces urine, helps us produce urine. That's fair enough, but there are a lot more things that the kidney does, you know, that helps us maintain a good, healthy lifestyle. And one of it, let me start from what everyone knows, producing urine.
Okay.
You know, and sometimes I'll just intertwine this with, you know, some of the early signs and symptoms that we find.
Okay,
so I'll mention the function and then tie it into the signs that we can pick up. And first off, the kidney, there are two bean shaped, like you can see on your screen.
Right. Oh, there
two bean shape, smiling at us.
Okay.
You know, located at the lower back. You know, lower back.
Lower back.
Lower back.
Okay.
Yes. In medicine, we call it a retroperitoneal organ.
Okay.
Yes, behind the peritoneum.
Retro
behind
the
peritoneum, behind the peritoneum. Right. So it's about 9 to 11 centimeter in size, in length. About 9 to 11 cm in length. Yes, both of them, and it could vary from people to people.
Okay.
And we could have.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Vary from people.
Yeah,
to
it could
people.
vary from people to the size.
Okay.
And we could have so many causes of kidney disease. It's enormous. We can't exhaust everything on one sitting. But I'll just highlight the most common causes of kidney disease in our setting, and even globally, really. We'd have things like diabetes. Diabetes is the #1 culprit when it comes to kidney diseases. Diabetes, called diabetic nephropathy, right? And then we have hypertension.
So let's start this off. So when you have diabetes, it can cause problems with your kidney.
Yes, exactly. The high amount of sugar that because the kidney filters, right? Now when it becomes filled with sugar, now this filtering becomes a problem. This essential function, aside even filtering, becomes a problem, right? The kidney has smaller units we call nephrons, and each kidney has about 1 million nephrons. So you can imagine tiny units trying to do the functions of the kidney. So diabetes significantly affects the kidney. The next thing is hypertension. We've been talking about hypertension. I don't think we can stop talking about hypertension, but hypertension is another major cause of kidney disease. Another thing is what we often do in our setting using herbal preparations. They are what we call nephrotoxic drugs. Even the medications you give in the hospital, some of them are toxic to the kidneys. So that's why it's essential not to self-medicate. You have to seek a pharmacist's advice or a doctor's advice on certain medications, and they should know your history, your background, because if you have kidney problems and you take certain medications that are toxic to the kidney, it just further declines your kidney functions.
So diabetes, hypertension,
and some medications, and majorly locally prepared herbal preparations could affect your kidneys. Another one, it could be genetic. What we call polycystic kidney disease. I'm sure most people have heard about that term. It's an autosomal dominant condition where if your parents had it, there's a 50% chance that the kids will also get it. If one parent has it, the 50% chance the next generation would get it. So it's important that when we do regular checkups, we get to pick these things up and then know how to manage it well. So that's just a bit about the anatomy, and background of kidney. So now going straight into the function, I mentioned filtering blood.
Okay.
Now, there are a lot of waste products that goes through our blood and needs to be filtered. Waste product. The blood is not 100% clean.
But where is the waste product coming from? That it will not come out through anywhere. Why is it going to the blood? Why?
So most of the food we eat, most of the drinks we take, most of the medications you take. Now most medications are detoxified by the liver, works in the various areas of the body needs to function in, and it has to leave the body through a pathway. So most medications are cleared through the kidney out, or else if it remains in your blood, it further take, for instance, insulin. Diabetics who are on insulin. Now, if your kidney is not functioning well and you take a certain amount of insulin, it works by reducing your blood sugar, and now the kidney is not functioning to clear it out. It will keep reducing the sugar till you go hypo. Do you understand? It will keep reducing your blood sugar till you collapse, So that's why it's essential to know that if you have kidney issues and your doctor is aware, they can know the amount of insulin that can be prescribed. I'm just using that as an example. There are so many more, medications that are toxic to the to the kidney. So
it's cleansing the blood.
Cleanses the blood.
Waste products.
Waste products.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. And some of these waste products are, blood urea, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sodium and all that. And another thing that it does is to maintain blood volume. The kidney maintains blood volume. And it does this by regulating the amount of sodium and chloride that you take in or that is present in your body. These blood volumes needed to be maintained because of blood pressure. So it maintains blood pressure, right? So if you have a huge amount of blood volume, it could lead to an increased blood pressure. Right. So we always say that a kidney problem can give you hypertension.
And hypertension
can give you a kidney problem. So vice versa. Right. So the kidney does that. Another main function of the kidney is to produce hormones. hormones. There's a particular hormone called erythropoietin. And now what this hormone does is that it goes into the bone marrow and stimulates production of red blood cells. Now, red blood cells are like, donut-shaped cars that carry oxygen around the body. So when you see people saying they get tired often, they're often tired, it could be from so many other things, but it could also be from the fact that you have a poorly functioning kidney, in a sense that it's not producing erythropoietin, and because of that, the bone marrow is not stimulated to produce red blood cells that would carry this oxygen around the body. So now you realize that when you exert yourself for a minute or two, you climb a flight of stairs, you get tired, you get so much tired. And so, yeah, that's another main function of the kidney.
Okay.
One of the early warning signs or symptom of kidney failure is no sign, no symptom. It's no symptom. I beg your pardon. I want to repeat that. One of the early warning symptoms of a kidney problem is no symptom.
So just as you say, it's asymptomatic.
Asymptomatic.
How? That's dangerous, man.
And exactly. So that's why we need to pay close attention to the kidneys.
Okay, so let me announce it. That's the doctor using, maybe you are seeing his fine face, you don't understand. See the beast now. Now, let me tell you. They said, if you are having problem with your kidney, there will be no sign, no symptom.
There might be a sign.
There might be a sign, but
yes,
no
symptom. Now, signs are what the doctors pick up.
Okay.
When we examine you, we run some labs, realize that especially the fact that your creatinine or one of the toxic materials in your blood is high.
Okay.
We can pick that up. But you feel so fine. You feel very good, like you're not having any symptom. But then we've done your kidney function test and we realize that your creatinine is elevated. Your blood urine nitrogen is elevated. That is a sign. So we can pick up signs,
right?
But you might not have symptom.
Okay.
At the early stages. So we can go ahead and...
Yes. So what it means is that it is better to prevent it, right?
Exactly.
Because it might not show symptoms for you to tell that this has to do, this problem has to do with the kidney. Wow, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
So the doctors might forgive me for using guesswork, but look at the signs and say, okay, this probably could come from here and start treating something else.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it has to do with the kidney, right?
No. So that might not be the case.
Okay.
I mean, there are certain instances where that could be the case,
Okay.
but there's a reason why when you come to the facility, I mentioned the last time about hypertension,
right?
Why we check your vitals, your blood pressure, because it's not something that you come to the hospital saying you want to check.
Yes.
But we check that, we pick a few things up. And there's also a reason why sometimes we do what we call baseline labs. These baseline labs could include a full blood count that would show us your blood level, where it is. It would also show us if you are having any current infections or not, with your white cells being elevated. We'd also do your renal function test or your kidney function test as baseline, because sometimes we want to know where we are now, so that in the next few days, if it changes, then we know that there's a problem somewhere. And then we also do a liver function test. So these are like the baseline blood work that we do.
David Ofori is calling us from Malam. Hi, David. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Good morning and thanks for your time.
Hello.
Yes, David, you're on air. Talk to us.
Please, my question is, what are some of the early warning signs of kidney disease?
Okay. Right. Thank you. Okay, we have to revert to the earlier statement you made.
Yeah,
right?
So I already mentioned the first one, no symptom, right?
Yes.
Now, so another one that people could see and pick up is swelling.
Swelling where?
Swelling. So people can have, swelling in their feet, in their arm, they're around their eyes. We call periorbital edema, so swelling. So you realize that.
Must it be frequent? Because sometimes when you travel.
Sometimes when you wear your shoes and you remove it, you realize there's some indentation.
Okay.
Yes.
And also when I do hard work and if I don't sleep that much, I could have the swelling.
Yeah, I mean, those are,
So how do I differentiate between the swelling from the kidney and this normal one?
So if you realize that the swelling is always there, especially when you wake up in the morning and you see some periorbital swelling, swelling your feet, when you press on it, you realize that when you remove your arm, it's still there. It takes a while to, for your skin to come back up. It's called pitting edema. So that's, those are one of the early symptoms, and that could be attributed to the fact that I mentioned that the kidney regulates sodium, some of the salt in the body.
Right.
Now, if the kidney is malfunctioning and sodium is not being excreted, it could build up.
Ella is calling us from Bawi. Let's speak it as well, and that's what you're seeing. Exercise via discretion, please. Please exercise via discretion. We might be showing you some images that might not be too good for. Ella, can you hear me? Good morning.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much for your time. Let's hear you.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to ask that I drink a lot of water during the day, but still feel dehydrated. Could it be related to my kidneys?
You drink a lot of water during the day and what?
But still feel dehydrated. Okay. Could it be related to my kidneys?
Okay, so you are drinking water, but the water is as though it's going somewhere else, so still feeling dehydrated.
Yeah, so that would also lead me to talk about another symptom of kidney problem called change in urination, right? Now, what Ella might be experiencing, I would advise she goes to any close by health facility to check her blood sugar.
Okay.
Because I mentioned diabetes is the #1 culprit to kidney problems, right? So if you are finding yourself being thirsty almost often, and you're urinating almost always, there are symptoms of diabetes, right? We call it polydipsia, frequency, nocturia. So you are always drinking, you're always urinating, you're always feeling thirsty, you want to drink more, you want to urinate. It's a sign, it's a symptom, I beg your pardon, of diabetes. So, I mean, it could be natural, but then you don't want to be wrong. I mentioned the last time that a lecturer of mine said his past question would not come during the exam. So don't read past questions, fresh questions. But then you'll be a fool to go to that exam without going through his past questions. So then it could be anything, but we don't want to miss diabetes, right? So I would advise that she goes to the health facility to check her blood sugar, do some labs, so we call HbA1c, which shows, the sugar in your body for about 3 months, how long it has been. And that should help her catch diabetes early so she can start treatment and then prevent a kidney problem.
I see.
Yeah.
Edward, as Clifford Asante is calling us from Obuasi. Clifford, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, Clifford, you're on air. Talk to us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, my question is, what simple lifestyle changes can I make to keep my kidneys healthy?
Simple lifestyle changes he can make to keep the kidney healthy.
Yeah, so before we go into lifestyle, we want to say that check the top things that could cause you to get a kidney problem first.
Okay.
Hypertension, diabetes, and drugs, certain herbal preparations. Now, when I mentioned nephrotoxic medications, it could also be translated to food. So a lot of processed food can...
Like what?
Processed, canned food, hot dog, a lot of food that have been processed, really, with so many chemicals added to, the original state of the food, can predispose you to, having these toxins affect the kidneys, and it can give you kidney problems.
So the issue of hypertension, what it means is that, I know we've dealt with hypertension, but I'll come back to that. So then we can deal with the lifestyle.
Yeah.
There's a caller from, Maud is calling us from Takoradi. Maud, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
How are the people of Takoradi this morning?
Okay, so please, I want to ask the doctor one question.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I have a family of kidney disease, and I'm scared now. So what steps can I take to reduce my weight?
Say that again. I didn't hear that clearly.
I have a family of kidney disease, and I'm really scared. So what are the steps I can take to reduce my weight?
Thank you very much. But first of all, keep praying as well to God. I believe in prayer. Because, so it's coming from a lineage of...
that was what she said.
Exactly, yes. Of family members suffering from these kidney problems, what must he do?
Yeah, so it's I don't know how old Maud is.
Yes.
I don't know how old she is.
We should have
yes, because that could also, it's good, and she's identified, you know, a family history of kidney disease. Because if you've identified it, go to the hospital. That's what she should do.
Okay.
Go to the hospital and just go there to the OPD to see a GP. Say, this is what is bothering me. Because she's afraid, you know. And then he's going to run a series of labs and then perhaps request for an ultrasound of the kidneys as well. Then we check, because chronic kidney disease is an impairment in function and structure of the kidney. So not just function, but the structure of the kidney is also, you know, looking out of the normal. So that's what Maud should do. Go to a health facility, tell the doctor you are afraid, because this is the pattern, you know, of family, you know, kidney issues that I'm having. And then he will take it up from
there. There was
there.
a question also about lifestyle, and I'm expecting our friends from Nigeria to call. Can't you speak a bit of Nigeria?
No.
Not at all.
I can understand.
Oh, you understand?
Yeah.
So then you can speak one like call. You can't say call. So please talk to us about lifestyle.
So yeah, so I mentioned you know, eating processed food.
Okay, right.
Right, that could also be a cause. And
drugs, you said
herbal preparations, locally prepared.
All of them?
Locally prepared herbal preparation that have not been processed or gone through, you know, FDA, because I'm being told now that there are some herbal preparations that have been processed well and have been cleared by the Food and Drug Authority. So, but some people buy, you know, this green herbal by the roadside that cures 1 million conditions. So, yeah. So,
and a lot of them are also taking medicines for their reproductive whatever.
Exactly.
Young people are doing that a lot. That could cause that.
Yeah,
right?
that could cause it. As long as it's not prescribed by a doctor.
Yeah,
then,
but who is prescribing those things at all? Bro, Charlie, don't pressure yourself. Don't pressure yourself. Right? No, don't let any woman pressure you. Prosper is on the line. Hi, Prosper.
Hey, hello.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Yes, you're on air. Talk to us.
Yes, got this brother Prosper from who?
Okay.
Okay,
very well, Prosper. Welcome to the show. Talk to us.
I want to ask you, why you are eating the night too much? Will you consider kidney?
Right. Okay. Doc would answer. The shabu shabu boys who have been eating in the night. Tell me about it.
So, eating in the night would not necessarily affect you know, your kidney. But then again, eating in the night would predispose you to having obesity.
Right.
Because now you're not getting time for that food to properly digest, you know, and then you go to sleep. And then late night eating all the time and eating of high carb containing food. And then you realize that if you do that over a prolonged time, you start having central adiposity, what we call pot belly. You know, you start developing some fat.
Senior, I'm sorry. Tone it down, Senior. I'm sitting right here with you. Senior, sorry. Oh my word.
Stray bullet.
I tell you, I chop out this morning. Okay, that's fine. So for those of you who are developing pot belly, watch out. Anything can happen. We have to change our lifestyle. Anyway, Rita is calling us from Dodo, all right? Rita, can you hear me?
Okay, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Rita.
Yeah, please, I wanted to ask Doc, if you keep having kidney stones, is it a way to expose you to kidney failure or kidney disease?
We would answer that. Please, when you call us, can you lower the volume on the TV set? I want to hear your very, very good voice. Kidney stones, I'm sure you would have treated it later in the series, I guess. But it's come up.
Now,
what's it? Stones in the kidney?
Yes.
Oh, stones in the kidney?
Yes, stones in the kidney.
What are they doing there? Really?
You know, there are numerous stones that could form, you know, in the kidney. And most of them could be as a result of, let's say, precipitation of, you know, water and then the salts. Still, and most of them are of salt origin. Still remain there as a stone. in the long run, a stone can, cause you to have a kidney problem, a chronic kidney problem. How would this happen? Now, if you have a stone and then you are having, urine passing through, sometimes there's a bit of backlog or backflow of urine, that could predispose you to having a recurrent infection, a recurrent urinary tract infection that will lead to, having a recurrent kidney infection, what we call pyelonephritis. And there will be a backlog of, urine that's always stagnant in the kidneys, and this recurrent infection can cause you to have an acute kidney injury and even a chronic kidney disease if it stays for more than 3 months. So yes, if you have a stone, obviously you feel pain. I mean, a kidney stone is what makes the biggest of men crawl on their knees because it's very painful. You don't want to have a kidney stone.
I see.
Don't want to experience
Is it curable? Is it?
Yes, it's curable. When you have a kidney stone, there are surgical interventions, and even before that, depending on the location of the stone. So it could be within the kidney, the calyx of the kidney. It could be within the tube that takes urine from the kidney to the bladder. Right? It could also be in the junction between that tube and the bladder. So depending on the location, depending on the size of the stone, would determine the intervention that the urologist would give you. Some of them could just mean drink water, hydrate yourself. If it's a very tiny stone in a good location where frequent hydration would just, dissolve it and then take it through. But depending on the size, it could mean that you might do surgical intervention as well.
I see. You can still call us and let us know what you think. Your questions are welcomed. Is there anything we've not touched on? I think we're doing the lifestyle. So we talked about hypertension, diabetes. No, that's not. You were looking at the causes.
The causes, the functions.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd also want to mention one function that a kidney does. It helps to activate vitamin D.
Okay.
Now, vitamin D is important for bone health. How would this happen? The first activation of vitamin D is actually done in the liver, for 25 hydroxylation. And then when it gets to the kidney, it does what we call 1-hydroxylation.
Okay.
That makes it fully fleshed active.
Hold on there. Let's go to an innocent soul, as Innocent has called us from Accra. Innocent, can you hear us?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. You're on air. Talk to us.
Yeah, please, I want to ask if there is any way maybe you are having some ulcer, something like that, and you will be feeling abdominal pains continuously. Is there any medicine that you can use and treat the ulcer?
Okay, I see. That's a move away from kidney, or is this still the ulcer thing?
It's a move away, but I want to touch a bit about that.
Please do.
I would not prescribe any medication for him here on air until he goes to the facility for him to be examined, because so many things could cause stomach pain or tummy pain.
Okay.
And one of it could be kidney. Because when you have a buildup of the toxins I mentioned, urea, so you have uremic symptoms. Now, one of it is called uremic gastritis. So you have tummy pain, vomiting, nausea. You feel like vomiting. You have tummy pain. That could be from the buildup of toxins in your bladder that has not been excreted by your kidney. Uremic symptoms. So you can have uremic pericarditis, your heart, chest pain. You could even have uremic encephalopathy, where sometimes you feel sleepy during the day. You get a little confused some of the time. So uremic gastritis can cause tummy pain, but for an ulcer, he has to go to the health facility to run a test to ascertain that this is an ulcer and nothing else. Because especially if it's in a female in her reproductive age who is having a tummy pain is pregnancy until proven otherwise. You don't want to give medication to terminate someone's pregnancy without knowing. So that's why you need to be in a health facility.
I see. So, Innocent, please. I know sometimes it's very, very difficult for us to get up and go to the hospital. Also because of the fear of the unknown, what you might be told. And also the fact that, look, they might take a lot of money from us because now it's cash and carry. I don't know how free that is. It's cash and carry. So, but it is important that you do that so that once the early signs come, you are giving early treatment as well before it also goes into something. Let's go to an Angel who is calling us from a shaman. Angel, you're on air. Good morning. Angel, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, you are there. Talk to us. Ooh, Angel, you can call us back. Or those of you also with us, please call us. The number is on the screen so we can talk about it. You were mentioning some huge words.
Yes, I was talking about one of the functions,
vitamin
D.
Vitamin D.
Yes, I was saying that the kidney helps to, activate vitamin D, so that vitamin D helps our intestine absorb calcium.
Okay.
Now, when you have calcium, it helps strengthen your bones.
Okay.
So if you have a kidney disease, someone who is in the extreme end of, chronic kidney disease, you realize that function is impaired. The kidney is not able to, activate vitamin D, and because of that, they are not able to absorb calcium. They are prone to having fractures, osteoporosis and all that. Yeah.
There's a caller from Kaswa. Hi, what's your name?
Good morning. My name is Gloria. I'm calling from Kaswa.
Yes, the Republic of Kaswa. Please talk to us.
Okay. So please, I want to make an inquiry about a little child. She's about 6 years old, and she has been constantly complaining about stomach pain. Because I'm watching your program, and I think I've picked up results from what you guys are doing. Kudos to that. So I'm compelled to call to ask. This baby girl, she always complaining of chest pain and abdominal pain once in a while. And then I've taken her to a matron, like a nurse who works in a hospital, and then she prescribes some medications to her, antacid, and then, to calm the pain and all of that. But I can say that the pain is still constant, like it comes and goes once in a while. So what should I do? What should we do?
Okay.
Yes.
Guesswork. She comes to the facility.
I don't know why.
That's
I mean,
constant.
it's not right to just go to the hospital and then you're just giving the medication without investigation, proper examination and investigation. And she mentioned that a matron prescribed the medication for her. So that child needs to be examined.
See?
And that child, we need a good history. Because I don't know the age of the child. There are certain conditions that are congenital. Congenital means that she was probably born with it. And then perhaps would manifest at a particular age. She didn't mention the age, but at a particular age. So if we have that history, that pregnancy history, birth history, depending on the age, then we can tell that, okay, this and this is what we are looking at. And how do we confirm that? By doing investigation, an ultrasound or something. So she has to go to the hospital.
But wait a minute, you sound very thorough. All our people, medical, practitioners, this thorough?
I know we are supposed to.
Yeah, of course.
We are supposed to.
Because then sometimes I'm sure I even get fatigued if you have to. Now let's go back. Let's see what you have.
Yeah.
I'm like, Doc, can you just treat this right now? What are you asking me of the history of? Is that a usual procedure that you go through?
It's the usual.
Okay.
So whenever you see a patient, sometimes they always say that you make your diagnosis even from how the patient walks into your consulting room, right? So if someone comes and has a gait, and it's working, then you have an idea that things going through your mind, what could be the cause. Once the person sits down and start talking, you also have an idea. For instance, someone sits and start having slurred speech, like I mentioned the last time, then I'm thinking of, is this a stroke or what else, So now the first encounter, you have to take history. And every physician is supposed to know how to take a good history. And taking a good history would involve you sometimes, depending on what you're looking at, to go back. Can you tell us about your birth history, Why was the child even immunized in the first place,
I see.
And
Gifty is calling us from Ashaiman, and I understand she wants to speak the local language. Gifty, go ahead. We'll have to interpret it after. Gifty, go ahead.
Patrol, last year, I say me but me muta and kitty babe to be in a guy. After that, I'm being for me this woman, no musi, a baby insane. Me check up, me check our move back, like me come by Bobby Plamacobia, no Muslim. Me copy our move, and I asked to Swediman to so Miss Messiah Bracan. Namin Tiasi. Doctor bet me anya bibi aka from watremia.
Did you understand that?
Translate that further. I was having troubles even hearing what she was saying.
I see.
It was breaking.
So I guess what I heard was she was having droplets, right? Some droplets of blood, and when she's being droplets of blood.
Okay.
Now the point is, I think prophets or church said she's pregnancy, she's pregnant and all of that. So she was asking if you could have something to say about that, droplets of blood.
So history is very important.
Exactly.
So someone like this, we need to sit down in a consultation and get details. Because if it's a menstrual blood, then it's normal.
Okay. But I'm not sure.
Exactly.
She will know if
exactly.
it is.
So it could also be an abnormal menstrual cycle.
Oh, okay.
Right. It could be abnormal. Maybe your normal is every 30 days, but it's coming on maybe 15 days. Remember cervical cancer we mentioned. Bleeding, postcoital bleeding after sex, and bleeding intermenstrually is also a sign of that. And then it could also be that where is the blood coming from? Is it from the urine, the urinary tract, not even the vaginal opening?
Okay.
If it's from the urinary tract, then it could be a problem maybe with the bladder or running upway to the kidneys. Right, and we have to investigate that to know exactly when did this start. Is it associated with pain? Do you have discharges? So it's a consultation we need to have. It's not something that we could discuss.
All right, so Mami, I'm sure you got it. You have to visit a facility and then speak to them and encourage them to ask you about the history. All right. So let's go to Dansoman as the caller is calling us from there. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Elizabeth, calling from Dansoman.
Elizabeth, you want to talk to us?
Yes, I want to ask the doctor that from only 4 months, I didn't get my message, and I'm not pregnant too.
For the past 4 months?
Yes.
She's not had her menses.
Yes.
And she's not pregnant. So, I mean, like I mentioned, people can have irregular menstruation.
Yes.
And the gynecologist that can be treated by the gynecologist if we get to find out what's the root cause.
Right.
There are so many causes of irregular menses that we can't treat here. So many causes of irregular menses.
Right.
So we have to find out what exactly is caused. There are certain hormones perhaps that maybe she's producing in excess, or there are certain hormones that she's producing in a lower amount that maybe is causing her to have that symptom. And there could be certain medication that they can put her on. And that is if that is as a result of pregnancy. And then again, we'd also rule out pregnancy before we go into so she should see a gynecologist. A gynecologist, because if she has irregular menses, or she's not saying in past 4 months, it could be a symptom that your menses is not regular. Or perhaps if she's close to I don't think she's close to menopause. I don't know, but she didn't mention that. But if you're perimenopausal, it could also mean that you'd miss a few months of your menses.
Interesting. Roberta is calling us from Pokwasi. Roberta, can you hear me? Roberta, can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, you're on air.
But shall make a check, Accra.
Go ahead.
But shall maybe doctor say typhoid, it's me my point we are now when you should room for metricia, so still. I'll say maybe some Accra.
Neck pain or dizziness.
Yes.
You understand that?
Yes. So the typhoid, how did she know it was typhoid in the first place? That's my question to her. How do you know it's typhoid if you have not done a blood test to confirm? Because so many things can, give you the symptoms she mentioned. So many other things, some even poor sleeping position. So many things. So how did you know? Are you having fever? Are you vomiting? Are you passing stool? Watery stool? Have you done some lab tests? Have you checked your full blood counts to see what is your HB level? Even, having a low HB level, making you feel dizzy and all that. So many things could attest to what she's having. How did she know it was typhoid?
So you've got to check.
You've got to check.
You've got to check. You've got to check. There's one question on my mind, and I think we need to address that. I don't know if it's greed or need. Quite a number of people have come to understand that because you have two kidneys that do the same thing, and one can function without the other. They're able to sell the other to fix their needs. And so you've heard that?
Yeah.
You know, it's being done as we speak. A lot of people are selling their kidneys. People are being taken out of the country allegedly and also deceived to do things like this, and so they go selling their kidneys.
Yeah.
Is it true that one can function?
Yeah.
But before you do that, let's pick the call because
Okay.
this is very important. Before you do, Gladys is calling us from Kwabenya. Gladys, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Gladys, you're on air. Talk to us.
Okay. My name is Gladys. I've been having my message about 5 to 7 days, but for about 8 months now, it's come only 3 days. And I want to ask the doctor the problem associated with that.
8 months. 8 months, you say?
It is I will not see any blood again.
Oh, say that again, Gladys. Did you say she's not had the menses for 8 months?
From what I heard, she
Okay.
said she's been having her menses now, but for the past 8 months,
Yes.
it's been coming only 3 days.
Okay.
From that's what, if
okay.
I understand
Oh,
her,
right.
her right. Again, we can't overemphasize, backgrounds to how did they start, what happened. If you are in a consultation, we would want to find out what has been the norm. Do you understand? Because for some people, maybe 3 days is normal. Bleeding for 3 days is normal. Let's say you have a 28-day cycle, you bleed every 3 days. Perhaps maybe hers was maybe 7 days, 5 days, but we don't know that. And then how has it changed? Now, do you bleed heavy or even less? No, so that would help us to. So we have to find out the background of what exactly is happening. Ask her a question that she might not even think is related, to what is affecting her, and then run a few labs. So she again has to see a gynecologist when it comes to these issues. Yeah,
I think there's a need for all of us to begin to touch base with these people through free screenings a lot of times, because people are not able to afford going to. So I understand the free screening, but let it move beyond just the basic ones that we do to very, complex issues like this, so that people can access free health care in these ways, gain the advice and probably treat themselves. Now, let's go back to the sales of kidney or organs.
Yeah, so I think that it is a malicious, it is a malicious affair to engage in sales of an organ. It's very malicious. Like you are going to sell your organ.
Because I'm in need. My children
it's very
are in
malicious,
need, and I want to sell to fix them.
No, you should donate if someone is in need. It should be donated for free.
Okay.
And that's because somebody needs it, right? In advanced countries, what they do is when, let's say, there's an accident or someone dies and the brain is still functional, and they tend to quickly harvest. Some people can be brain dead, but they are no longer, so they could quickly harvest, by the law, harvest these organs, and then there are people who are
under permission of the family, I guess.
Yes, exactly, and people who are on the organ waiting list. For instance, let's take this same kidney, for instance. When you are having an advanced chronic kidney disease, or what we call end-stage renal disease, the treatment is renal replacement therapy. Now, the replacement therapy you're looking at here is dialysis, which you will go for life. And that dialysis really is to buy you time for a kidney transplant. Do you understand? Dialysis is often for life. I mean, there are instances where dialysis can be used, temporarily, and that's if maybe they have an acute kidney issues that maybe medication is not really, correct, and you want to dialyze and clear the toxins, and then the person comes back to his normal function. That could be done. But in end-stage renal disease, the stage 5 of the classification, we have stage 1, 2, 3A, 3B, 4, and 5, where your function is less than 15%. Dialysis is for life, and that's to buy you time to transplant, for a kidney transplant. So in advanced countries, these can be done, and people are on the waiting list. But I don't think that as a country we've gotten there yet, where we have those on the waiting list, and I think we had the first kidney transplant. I think it was at UGMC, I'm not so sure.
I see.
Yeah, but so yes, I think that it is malicious to go out and go and sell your kidney and come back, because there's a reason why God made it two. Think about it. Not every organ is two in the body. Yes, you can function with one. You can't function with one. But there's also a reason why he made it two. You know, there's a reason why the heart is one. There's a reason why your eyes are two.
Okay.
Because there are certain visions that you cannot see if you have just one, except you are a cyclop, you know. So there's a reason why it is bilateral, it is two. And we don't want to go ahead of God, and when there's no need, you know. It's not like donating blood where you can just go and then you bleed, you know, a few, 1-2 units and then come back in a few. Once you're donating your kidney, it's a huge thing, and you have to go through, you know, getting to understand the benefits and then the risk of it, and knowing that it's for a worthy cause, not to sell it for money.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just got a message from Biadela saying that I've disgraced her because of the tree, you know, that I was not able to. I don't understand. Are you my street teacher? Have you taught me any tree? You are warned. You will not come and do your job. You are just sending me messages. Anyway, that's just my co-host sending me messages from her base. But let's quickly wrap up, because I'm sure we're going to have the series, and so we're going to be talking about it a lot of times. But finally, before you go, tell us one thing we need to be looking out for in terms of lifestyle, so that once again, let's repeat it so that people get to understand.
So in terms of lifestyle, you want to ensure that you are not diabetic. And if you are diabetic, please get to the health facility and let them put you on some medication. Because when you start treatment, it would not, you know, affect, or it will prolong the time for which it would affect your kidneys. You want to exercise regularly.
Hey!
Exercise. Straight bullet.
I chop up again. As a second chopment.
Exercise regularly, you know, at least 30 minutes a day, or 150 minutes in a week, you know. And you want to quit smoking.
Oh no.
Smoking affects almost everything in the body. Almost anything that you call smoking can be a risk factor, you know. And the last time we spoke about first-hand, second-hand, third-hand smoking. So the fact that you don't smoke doesn't mean that you are not at risk. Ensure that your environment as well is devoid of
I'm yet to
smoke.
speak to people who smoke, though, and to understand why they do so.
They do that, yeah.
I know of people who in the very, very cold weather could do that, but people in this hot region, I'm yet to. Let's pick the final call. Judith is calling us from Amasaman. Judith, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Judith, good morning. You're on air.
Thank you. Please, I wanted to ask the doctor if lack of sleep or stress can affect the kidney.
Okay.
So lack of sleep or stress can affect so many things in the body. And for which the resultant effects might be, you know, a chain of, you know, cause can then affect the kidney, but not directly, right? So if you don't sleep for a long time, it affects even your basal metabolic rate, the way you function, you know, because you can't cheat the body, really, you know. And I always say that sleep facilitates healing, you know. So if you are not, there's a reason why when you go to the health facility, you are ill, they give you excuse duty. You need to rest for a few days, because if you don't rest, there is no way that healing will be complete. You know, even Jesus Christ, when the 10 lepers came to tell him thank you, and he says that go and you are made whole. You know, sometimes you should go and be made whole, and you should rest. So not directly giving you kidney problems, but you need to rest, because so many other things depend on it. So because like I mentioned, your body is working 24/7. So sometimes some of these, you know, activities need to, you know, go down so that it builds back up and comes back to help you.
Well, so conversations over and over again, and so as Dr. Wisdom Mfiong joins us, as many times as he does, we're going to be treating these very topical issues that concerns our health. And so that's by way of kidney. Now you know what to do or what not to do. I beg you.
I would also want to add
that
hydration is important.
Like drinking water.
We overemphasize this, and we don't take it very important.
Some of us, it's only when we are eating that it comes over.
At least 3 liters in a day. At least 3 liters in a day. That should help. So that would be like about 6. If you take sachet, that would be about 6 sachet. Because sachet is 500 mils.
Yes.
6, or maybe the 500 mils plastic bottle, about 6 a day. So you can actually time yourself and say every 4 hours.
I want taste in everything I take in. So can I add a bit of lime or something to just take? I want something.
I'm sure you can do that. You can do
just
that.
A bit
but just
it.
Hydrate.
Yes, it has to.
Yeah, it has to be pure water.
Water, dear. God has to put some small.
So that is becoming.
That's just for some of us who don't like drinking water, but we'll have to learn it and keep it, practicing it. Of course, big thank you to you. Thank you very much for your time. As always, it's helpful.
Thank you.
And that's Dr. Wisdom. What are we treating? We'll continue kidney next week. So next week, Thursday, forgive me. Thursday, we're continuing kidney. And so every other question that you have, please reserve it, or we'll be opening the phone lines for you to call doctor as well on the issues of kidney. We'll take a break. When we come back, I've been thinking about something, and I want to share it with the world. Stay with us.
Talk to you about one of 5 that have been released. I would say you err because you know scriptures. There is something about having understanding. It deals with faith, the mastering of the test of love. And many people struggle at the place of valley. Realize next place after the valley is your journey to the hill, or a mountain in life without going through the valley. So when you find yourself right at the place of a valley, it's an indication that you are about to begin your journey of climbing the mountain or the hill. And so never be afraid when you find yourself in the valley. Every now and then, before you climb a mountain, you will go through a valley. And the valley is part of the process that we all have to go through before we get to the top of the mountain. And so if you are in a valley in your life right now, don't be afraid. Don't be despair. For the prophet said the other day, he said, my enemy, rejoice not over me, for when I fall, I will rise again. Most times when you are down in the valley, it's like that is the end of it, but it's not. That is just the beginning. You will rise again, and you will begin your journey from where you are and climb. So get this book, Beyond the Valley, the test of faith, love, and of character. To impact your life, it will give you keys to longevity. God bless you.
With DStv, and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
Buckle up, here we go.
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in, but getting a lot out.
Time to boost some office morale. Incredible!
If you want to build a future, you gotta know what you want.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DStv.
Every morning begins with you, your routine, your goals, your journey. Get ready for the day with us by your side. This is Wake Up Africa, your inspirational morning ride. We bring you the energy you need, the insight, and the motivation to kickstart your day. Wake Up Africa is here to connect you to the latest news, your front row seat to all the sports action. Get moving with us for a healthier you. Wake Up Africa gives you daily forecast, keeping you prepared for whatever comes your way. Join us each morning as we start your day together.
My name is Kokulumo, and welcome to Wake Up Africa.
Well, this is I've been thinking, and welcome indeed. I'm excited that you can join me. On this particular segment, what I do is to share my mind, my thoughts, especially what my state of mind is at this point with the world. It's a license to share with it, of course. It's got nothing to do, it's not going to be painful. It's a seamless process of making sure that we begin to look at things very differently. Some of them you have been looking at, you have thought about, but maybe from the angle I'm coming from, it will help us. And it's also to make sure that we become very good citizens that are ready to hold public officials accountable, hold ourselves accountable, be accountable to ourselves, and of course, so consider it as a peer review sort of a thing where it's just coming from me to you. Today, I want us to look at something very, very key. I mean, there are times where it is very difficult for you as a citizen, a tax-paying citizen. So you pay your taxes, you do your duties, your responsibilities, and you interface with a lot of institutions, government institutions, agencies, quasi-government institutions, and all of that. I mean, you just engage with them all the time, whatever country you are, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Niger, Kenya, Ghana. You just pay your tax and you are a good citizen. Yet, you do not know the work they do. For instance, you in Ghana right now, do you know the work? And this is not the affront to any. I'm just talking about somewhere like, let's say, Atomic Energy Commission. The Atomic Energy Commission. Do you know what they do? Do you? The Energy Ministry, apart from the fact that you feel that they take care of, things around the energy, do you exactly know what they do? So maybe power and our oil and some of the resources, do you know what they do? The point I'm really making is that, do you also know that most of these government organizations, the agencies, have what we call public relations offices or departments, or communications department, or if you like, corporate affairs department? What those offices do is that they must send out what these government organizations or agencies do to the people. Indeed, when you even go to the private organizations or non-governmental organizations, they also have these departments. But one observation that I have made is that these PR offices, corporate affairs offices, communications department, are just used, and forgive me, allegedly, to siphon money. What it means is that they don't come out, they don't go out to do anything. Through that organization, there must be education and sensitization. So first of all, they have to, through that office, tell the people what they do, what they are engaged in, what their mandate is, and all of that. Through that office, they must be able to resolve some of the problems that the organization face, that the agency face. And there is a budget allocation for that. Go and look at every ministry budget, what they send to the finance ministry. Look at government organizations, what they send to the finance ministry. Look at the agency, what they send to the finance ministry for some, allocation. You realize that there is some good money for public relations, communications. But the question is, why is it that they don't do it? I am saying that if you don't do it and we don't see much coming from you, it means probably, just probably, you are spending our money. Because what is the need of that office where it is not doing it? And you see, in Africa as well, wherever you are, you would understand that. And you see, go to the Auditor General's report. You find that a particular place that our monies go to has to do with what they call capacity building and PR. Capacity building and PR. Meanwhile, what is needed actually so that Africa can begin to think the way the developed, the first world countries think, is the same thing that they use to siphon money. What you need as a young person so that you can grow in your role that you are playing in that organization is capacity building. It's for them to send you to trainings, in-service trainings. When you take your leave or you want to go out, you can go out, study, come back and apply the same knowledge to the country. But it is the same thing that is used against us. So there's huge monies for capacity building that does not go to capacity building. There's so much money allocated for PR, communication, the corporate affairs. Nothing. They are supposed to do a community engagement, town hall meetings. They're supposed to send the message to every nook and cranny. But yet, they do nothing. They're just there. You don't know. They send, once a while, they send messages. They send press releases. They debunk. They are becoming reactive. Oh no, indeed, their nature in Africa is to be reactive instead of being proactive. So today, I'm calling on everyone, just as we have gotten a lot of ministers here in Ghana, everyone in Africa, if you're watching me today, I've been thinking about it, and you should also think about it. And we must begin to hold these corporate affairs departments, these communications departments, these PR departments accountable, because they need to tell us what they are doing. They need to come around the radio stations, the TV stations, pay, because there is money allocated. They need to do community engagement and send the information to the people, because you are serving us. It's not the other way around. You are serving us. And you have to do the need. It is a must, and you have to do it. And so for me today, and I have been thinking, I'm saying that let's all begin to question. If you go and you are not hearing a lot of things, let's begin to call. If you hear a lot of people talking about social media, and people must now have social media accounts, ministers must have social media accounts, it is only when they have to put out a statement of something that has happened that is when they come. No. We want to now see you sharing things with us. Whether we are concerned with it or not, allow us to get those information from you. And so that's what I have been thinking about. And I'm sure you have also been thinking. When I started, you say, yes, it's true. So begin to hold them accountable. Ask them to come and tell us what they are doing, what they intend to do, what their plans are for the year, what our plans are for 4 years. They should share their plans, everything with us. We are interested. We are very interested. Even if we are not listening, they should force it down, because that is the reason why they create these accounts. They create this budget for PR, for sensitization, for communication to the public. It is your job to do so. And that's what I've been thinking about. My name is Kokuluma. It's been a wonderful time. And I'm sure you have listened, you have taken something, you have been educated, sensitized throughout from the morning when we started at 6:30 a.m. till now. It's been a good time. We're back tomorrow to do it all over again. Tomorrow is a Wednesday. I remember as well, just as we do, entertainment will be back, tech and trends will be back. And also we'll talk about, we're returning, we'll bring back the African Opportunities Initiatives, the Thought Leadership Series, where we continue to talk about the future of Africa. The future of Africa is very important to me. It's important also because you and I must live an Africa that is worthy of living in by our children, our children's children, our children's children's children. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. It's been a wonderful time. My name is Kokuluma. See you soon.
is a daily necessity for daily triumph.
Africa, we must unite.